This is John Dowler of Prayer Builders in Winona, Minnesota, and we are in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, and we are actually at verse 9. And we're just seeing, I mean, so many times people, these days, I see so many people that are just so quick to say, I'm an apostle. God called me to be an apostle, and I'm going to be doing all these things. Well, if you get into some of these letters and you read what was in Paul's heart, you'll find out what an apostle really does and what an apostle really looks like. It's not just somebody that's over you telling you what to do and lording over your life. Paul, we got to follow these examples. God put this in here for a reason. And I mean, it's so amazing that Paul had such a love for people that he had known for 3 weeks. I mean, that just blows my mind. I mean, it probably takes longer for me to for someone to become dear to my heart. Well, we need to get like Paul to where people can get dear to our heart like really fast. And that's the way God is. That's the way Jesus is. But look at this. At verse 9, it says, "For you remember." Now, see, this was stuff that they saw. He says, "You remember, brethren, our labor and toil, for laboring night and day, that we might not be a burden to any of you, we preach to you the gospel of God." Now, right here, Paul's actually talking about, now here's the thing. Some people will take the scripture. He's actually talking about when we came to you, we put no financial burden on you. We did not come in and expect you to just only take care of us. When he was going in to the Gentiles and he was coming into these places, he would come in and he would do whatever was necessary, and he was just wanting to get the gospel to them in love, and he wasn't wanting to put anything off on them financially. Now, this is not where we make a doctrine of, oh, well, you shouldn't be getting anything from people. Preachers should just be they should just be working jobs like everybody else. Paul actually said when he was writing the Corinthians, he actually spent almost a whole chapter talking about that. So don't get on that side, because he said that God ordained. He said he quoted an Old Testament verse that said, "Don't muzzle the ox that treads out the corn." He said they that feed the flocks should be the first ones getting milk. He also said that God ordained that they that preach the gospel should live of the gospel. But even though it said that, if Paul was in a situation where he was ministering to people that didn't understand that, he was not going to put a burden on them. He would do everything he could to let his light shine and not make it look. He did not want to appear to be somebody that was out to get their money. He did not want anything getting misinterpreted. He would err on the side of working. And he just didn't, he was willing to do whatever. And so he goes ahead and he covers this, and he said, let's just read this again. He says, "You remember, brethren, our labor and our toil." Now that word labor, it actually means, here in verse 9, that word laboring means basically working and our occupation. And then he said the word toil actually more refers to pain and travail. And like, they only knew him for several weeks, but he wasn't coming to them and expecting any handouts from them. He was doing whatever he needed to, and his goal being around them was to get them the gospel and to be sharing the truths with them. So keeping, and once again, this is just Paul's heart, trying to stay pure. And he did not want to do anything to contaminate or to misrepresent his heart for taking the gospel to them. Because the gospel can be received free of charge We should not be putting a charge on the gospel. So anyway, if there's anybody out there that I don't know if this is speaking to your heart, if this is speaking to your heart, I would just be. Let it speak. I don't know, as I've been going through these verses and I've been meditating on them, they've been affecting me. They're just affecting me, and actually, they're strengthening me on the inside. And Paul. Like, what an example. This guy's saying, "Hey, I'm willing to work if I have to." And there were ministries that did. There were churches that were supporting Paul, but he says, "I'm willing to do whatever I've got to do." But and then he wrote half the New Testament. Just it boggles my mind. And today everyone's wanting to sell a book. Everyone's wanting to market a program. Everyone's wanting. Enough said. I want you to remember that no matter what takes place, and I'll tell you what, we need to really be seriously thinking about this. We're thinking we can just do everything we want down here. But we need to be doing what he wants, because Jesus is coming back.